Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Avatar Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to have a insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being, right? But in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about your past doesn't disqualify you for your future, right? So I really want to take in consideration because some of us may feel as if that we're stuck based on the fact that our past mistakes definitely define our future. We may feel as if that we can't get outcomes that we want based off of our previous decisions, right? So we may constantly replay the old mistakes or experiences in our mind, and when it comes to thinking about growth, we may think that it's not even impossible, right? So a lot of people believe that their past disqualifies their future or even a better future, right? But the past explains you but doesn't really define you as a whole. So I really want to take that in consideration. So stick with me, grow with me. We're going to be able to navigate throughout this video, right? So off rip, I want to normalize the experience, right? So many people carry the guilt, regret, or even the shame about their past, right? It is common to believe that those experiences limit future opportunities. Don't get it twisted, right? Some of our behaviors, things that we did in the past definitely have some type of impact on our future, right? We got to be able to think before we react, or take these in consideration with critical thinking, right? 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 5 seconds could really determine our future. I got to be transparent, but at the same time too, it does not define you, right? So society often labels people by their past instead of their growth, right? So we're so quick to think about negative qualities and features that derive from an individual, but what about the positive aspects, right? What about the good things they have done, right? So I really want to just kind of take a moment to really just acknowledge that, right? Because we're so quick to think negative about somebody, but what about the positive attributes? Right, so the core message I really wanted to provide as well is feeling weighed down by your past is common human experience, especially when mistakes or hardships are shaped, your story in some type of aspect. Right, so definitely this causes us to feel some type of way, but once again I want us to take into consideration that society and all these different attributes play into the shame, the guilt, and even that regret, but we also too got to take in consideration about that accountability of our past and our behavior, right? But I want us to take in consideration that at any time in our life we're able to improve, we're able to do a reset, we're able to start fresh. Right, so I really want us to take that in consideration. When it comes to some psychoeducation to keep us stay grounded, right, I want us to know that, the brain naturally remembers negative experiences more stronger than, as a protective mechanism, right? So our brain is prone to think negative. We're in a negative world. Let's be real. Just got to make those connections, right? So this can lead to people to feel, that override in regards to the identity of their past failures or those, painful events that had transpired, right? Growth happens when experiences are used as information rather than permanent labels, right? So I want us to take this into consideration that when we look at our past, right, look at it in a sense where this was an experience, this was a lesson, right? We learn from this, right? We're able to move on. You fall down, you're able to get back up, right? So I want to use this in a sense where we're able to have resilience and really push through to get to a positive side, right? Rather than labeling ourselves, keeping us stuck, keeping ourselves bogged down when it comes to these negative labels, right? So I really want us to take that into consideration, right? So your past provides lessons and context. Like I said, it's not a life sentence, so we don't got to be stuck this way, right? So I want us to have that positive mind reframe. Right, so people develop resilience when they learn to integrate their past experiences instead of allowing those experiences to define their identity, right? So if you just allow your identity to just be this way, right, and you just allow your mind to drift off in that negative stance of that rumination, you're going to be in that situation, right? But if you're able to really just, take a deep breath, really embrace the situation that happened, really be accountable for the situation that happened, take that lesson, take the context, right? And then allow yourself to, look at that, dissect it, and then move forward in a productive way, things are going to be much better for you, right? I want people to take that into consideration, but we got to be accountable for our situations. We got to be accountable for our behavior. We got to be accountable for our experiences, but we also too can move forward. So I want us to take that into consideration once again. So let's talk about some practical reframing in regards to changing the narrative, right? We don't have to be this way, right? We fall down, like I said, we're able to get back up. So first key point off rip is that mistakes are evidence of experiences, not permanent failures, right? I'll say it again. It's evidence, but it's not a permanent failure, right? The future is built through the present choices, not our past events, right? So there's a reason why when someone, I've seen this somewhere, right? When you're driving, you're looking at the windshield, right? In front of you, you ain't looking the smaller, like the mirror is smaller, right? For a specific reason, because the focus that you want to have is for you to look forward, right? Not looking backwards, right? So I really want us to break through that depression and that anxiety, but trying to allow yourself to get more wired into presence. What can we do with a solution-focused mindset in regards to getting what we want, right? Being around the right people, being around the right environments, productively having the right supports, right? Having a positive mindset, having compassion, right? We went through what we went through. Situations happened to us. We made poor decisions, etc., right? But we're still able to improve, like I said, but by embracing ourselves, embracing that compassion with that positive mindset. So I really want us to take that in consideration, right? Growth often happens, when we begin to stop ourselves from thinking about what we did wrong, right? Thinking that negative mindset, right? Don't get twisted. Like I said, be accountable, right? But stop thinking negative. Keep thinking about the past. We got to be able to forgive. In other sense, let it go, right? So we're able to move forward, right? So your past may be a part of your story, but it doesn't, like I said, define and decide the ending, right? You have control over your story. This is your life, right? Whatever you do, whatever you put into it, whatever you make of it, this is what it's going to be, right? So I really want us to transition our negative mindset and the beliefs and the value system of others and what society says, rather than what we think and how we're able to move and how we're able to make proactive decisions for our life, right? So people change careers after these setbacks, right? Relationships improve through learning and accountability, right? So, personal growth often happens after difficult chapters. Even with myself too, when I went through my heartbreak, right? It changed me. I was able to really sit with myself, get the right supports, right? And things take time. Don't get it twisted, right? Growth takes time. Good things take what? Time. So I really want you to have that understanding as well, is that, if you think that tomorrow you're going to wake up a new person, it may not be that way. So I really want to be transparent, right? So good things take time, but we got to be able to embrace, right? This is a part of life, right? We have setbacks, but we're able to still move forward, right? With that learning and that accountability. So let's dive into some micro action in regards to some immediate application, right? So when you know better, you're going to do better, right? So let's think about some practical steps so we're able to move forward with that positive mentality, right? So number one off rip is identify one experience from your past that often defines yourself by, right? What's really going on, right? So think about an experience that's causing you to kind of just be ruminating in this negative stance, right? What's going on here? Two, right? Ask yourself, right? So this time I'm saying we gotta be thinking, we gotta be rational thinking, we gotta, you know what I mean? We're not gonna be able to move forward if we're not really thinking productively about what's going on, right? So two, ask yourself, right? What did this experience teach me? What did I learn from this, right? What is the lesson? Gain some context, right? Be accountable. I'm gonna keep saying that. Be accountable, right? So this is your life. You gotta be accountable for your decisions, what's really going on, right? Someone's gotta be able to take the stand. We gotta stand on your 10 toes and really, move forward, right? Three is gonna be focused on one decision today, right? Today, not tomorrow, today, right? That reflects on who you are becoming, right? Not who you used to be, right? Some of us, like I said, we're still in the depression mode. We're still keeping ourselves back because we're still fixated on the identity of who we used to be, right? So how we're able to move forward, but we're still stuck in the past, right? Let's look at the present. Like I said, that's one decision today. What can we do? And I want to kind of give you some insight. The good thing that I want to recommend you as well is getting yourself a paper, journaling off rip. But this is something that I want you to write for yourself, to write down, right? Is a motivational comment, right? Someone can sit there and say, you're beautiful, you're a good person, you're loving, you're caring, you listen to me, you're respectful, etc., etc. Like, I want you to find an affirmation that is going to be beneficial for you, aka a positive word or a sentence or something like that, a quote or something like that, that's going to be beneficial for you, right? And the more that you are able to review this and say it out loud, or maybe even keep this in the bathroom. So when you brush your teeth in the morning, you're able to kind of develop this chemistry with yourself, right? Do this because this is going to help stretch the neuroplasticity in your mind to start believing that positive thing, right? Whatever you believe, you essentially think, and it starts to emulate into your life, and then you become that, right? So if you believe that you're going to be a good person, you're going to be a good person, right? Same thing. Imagine the kid that's in a behavioral school when he's always dealing with people, family even included as well. Let me just be real with it, right? If you keep saying I'm a bad kid, the kid's a bad kid, he's a bad kid, what do you think the kid's going to think? Let's just get to it, a bad kid, right? So it's just, I really want us to take into consideration, right? Let's enforce more of that positive thinking into our mind because we can become that as well, right? We don't have to stay stuck based off of our previous or our prior identity, right? We're able to improve at any given time. So, but it starts with the application. It starts with that love and the compassion, but it also starts with you being more intentional, right? So I could say what I want to say to you, you beautiful, you this, you that, you respectful, you loving, you caring, etc., right? But I want you to find something that's meaningful to you, right? So write that down, and if possible, review it every day if possible throughout this process so you're able to see that growth, right? So the idea regards this is that growth is built through present actions, not the past identity. I'll say it again. Growth is built through present actions, not past identity. So it's about your decisions. It's about what you do today. It's about, keeping yourself accountable. It's about being around the right people, right? It's about getting your mind on the right frequency with the positive thinking, right? Keeping these things around you, right? So I really want us to take that in consideration, and us forgiving ourselves and letting loose, letting go, letting free of our past identity, right? In order for us to open the next door, we got to close the one behind us, right? So let's start here, let's start today, and let's do things that are gonna be more beneficial for you, right? So get around the right folks, leave the people that, like not supporting you, not really trying to see you grow, not really trying to see you recover, right? We have to make conscious decisions today for us to get to where we wanna be, right? And let's be real. Some of the people that we were associating ourselves with may not be able to come with us, but we have to make the right decisions for ourselves to be able to have that growth, right? So let's dive into some, just wrapping this video up together. I really want us to take in consideration, right? The key point of RIP is that, your past is information, right? But it's not, doesn't truly define you, right? And it is not your limitation as well, right? So let's stop holding ourselves back from our true potential, right? We don't have to be stuck this way, right? We evolve, we change, we grow, right? But it's about our decisions, right? And it's not just about holding ourselves back, right? So let loose, let's have some rationality, let's have some love, let's have some compassion, let's have some understanding, let's have some accountability, right? But let's also realize that let's move forward. Let's get to it, right? So what if your past was preparation instead of a disqualification? Where you're able to, you've been through what you've been through, right? And it shaped you, but it doesn't have to decide, where you're going in regards to that destination. You can take control of that steering wheel of your life, right? Life is lifing, you can just fall back and just, be stuck and talk from the floor up, or you can potentially take the proper route in regards to that positive mindset, the right supports and the right resources in regards to just self-understanding for yourself, right? And things can get much better. So I really want you to take in consideration the things that we discussed today. If you found it was beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share if possible, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay blessed.